ring to it? Make you feel right at home? Well, probably you don't consider yourself a jailbird. By the way, has anybody here been in jail? Wasn't it a delightful experience? I think the most delightful part of it was the realization, ain't living long like this. Really. And then we come to where we are right now. And the fact of the matter is, humanity is pretty much locked down. Let's just get a feel for this for a moment. Remember, the rest of this goes on. It's time to break out. I'll remind you of that if you start sinking too deep into it. But we look at our situation and we see that we're born into a pre-programmed set of realities. Now, most people don't realize that. Hence, why I'm calling everybody a jailbird. Because no one realizes they're in jail. I thought about to begin this lecture that I'd hand out get out of jail cards, the free ones. But then I thought if I did that, then nobody would see the relevance of this whole thing. That's why it's nice to be able to play games, right? Like Monopoly. Okay, so here we are, and we're in this construct. And it is a construct that is made up by a few who rule the many. Now the few, realize that everything is energy. And this has been kept from us by almost every institution that humanity is involved in. But everything is vibrational. Now the vibrations are shifting and changing, which means that those who are in positions of control are losing their control because where their control is exerted is in the lower, denser vibrations. You see, as a matter of fact, one of the interesting considerations about this is that one of the most destructive forces with regard to our emotional, our spiritual, our physical well-being is low vibration energy. And I want you to be afraid. And I want you to stay in fear. Because in fear I can rule you. What did that just do to you right then? Probably caused your energy to drop. Okay. While it isn't kept at a high pace all the time, it is kept in play all the time. And this keeps us in a place of feeling diseased, which means without ease. Okay, so there's the jail. Everybody got a feel for it. All of you came to a place of realizing, all right, this is what is tempting to be kept in place right now. Here we are in a transition period. And the intention of today's lecture is to help you to realize we can make this as gently a transition as possible. We can do it as harmoniously as possible. But there are certain things that we have to, in ourselves, make adjustments to and choose to generate as human beings. Now, this humanness of us is also a way of saying we're hardwired for certain things. Now, one of those things that we're hardwired for is to actually express empathy and well-being toward others. Notice how it is when you come upon a situation that has some type of real seriousness, some tragedy, some harm, some injury. Your immediate response is toward empathy. Okay? Then other things will kick in because of your programming, and you'll get alarmed, you'll get upset, you'll get in a fear mode. But this is just one of the considerations with regard to us. And Now I bring it back to making a reference to everything that is. It's all vibrational. Now let's make a shift here. We think that we are permanent the way that we are. Everything is changing. There's no permanency there at all, so far as staying the way that we are. But getting out of jail means that we lift ourselves out of our assumed reality in believing that we are the way that we are, and look and see that there has been no time on the planet when any species has remained as it was. Everything has changed. We also are changing. There's a possibility that our present form, our present density, our present reality will not be the one that we enter into and become. That doesn't mean that we're going to cease to exist. That doesn't mean that we're going into a state of extinction. But it does mean that who we are as we are is being worked with and encouraged by other dimensional realities to make this shift called evolution. Now, this may be a little challenging to you because it might be the first time that you've ever considered yourself in this way, or you've ever considered our race in this way. But you see, we have the capacity to generate a number of different vibrations. Think about what you just experienced with Susanna. From the time of her being called Suzanne and correcting everybody with Susanna, to every one of her performances, to every one of her encouragements to bring it to a higher pitch, your participation caused you to actually generate different frequencies, and you also were encouraged to increase those frequencies to a higher level of actual energy. See, we're capable of it, but most of the time we don't pay attention to ourselves, realizing what it is that we actually do all of the time. We live in our heads when we are other than the heads in which we try to express through solely. Now look and think. Look and feel. Look inside yourself and come to experiment with what you are capable of generating. In the introduction, it was listed love. Was it joy? Joy. Acceptance? Gratitude. Okay, those are 4 vibrations that we are capable of generating. Notice the first one, love. Now, everything that is happening happens and is allowed to happen through the frequency of love. Even the darkest, most desperate of things, they are allowed to happen through love. Because you see, love also is the healing energy that brings about a balance and a harmony. Even though we may think that the time it takes, because of our short-sightedness, it isn't happening. It is. Well, if you allow yourself to bring this into your own personal experience, you can participate in this transition by any time you choose. It is available to choose to generate love. To actually choose to, in yourself, be the love that you are generating. That can be a stretch. Because sometimes it is that we get confused in the different things that happen and we identify with them. And we get lost in them. If you ever stop to think about it and ever pay attention, you're going to see that those lower density experiences that are there to stimulate you are to lower your rate of vibration away from what and who you truly are. So breaking out is about you making a conscious choice of what you're going to generate, what you're actually going to choose to live in your life. Now, the fear and the conditioning that go hand in hand with the fear model causes us to actually generate corresponding feelings. We get anxious, we get worried, we get concerned, we get angry. We have a number of different energies that we will resonate with when we allow ourselves to go unconscious and participate with them. But they can also become a signal to get your attention so that you and yourself look and see, this is a situation that requires of me to generate love instead of becoming a victim and generate the things that I'm being encouraged to generate. This is very basic, very simple. But sometimes if you're not paying attention or if you're not familiar with this, it can be very confusing to you. So sometimes it is like any of us, or any one of us, who has spent an extended period of time in jail. When we actually get out of jail, we're not quite sure what to do with ourselves, because we've become so regimented in the way that we've lived our lives. We've had someone tell us what to do, when to do, how to do, how long to do, to where when we get out and we start experiencing freedom, that can be a little daunting as to what you're going to do with it. So getting out of jail and ceasing to be a jailbird requires of you to actually go inside yourself and find the substance that is you, that you choose to identify with and you choose to actually generate. Sometimes it is that you feel all alone because you see everybody else is still acting out the jailbird scene. They're still living in the confinement of it all. But that is limited because you see, look out there. Just turn around and look out that window. There's the rest of us. You see? And they're engaged in activities that they're choosing to be engaged in. That is an expression of the same thing that we are expressing right now, and that is free will. It's a gift. It is not for us to impose what we want someone else to do upon them. To say, you need to come in here and you need to get educated as to what's really going on. When the fact of the matter is, they are being educated by their own choices, just as we are. And awakening, enlightening, ascension, all of these things are occurring. But they're occurring not because of someone else. They're occurring because of what we are personally choosing to embrace in ourselves. So today it really comes right back to you. It comes back to me. What I choose to do, what I choose to generate, and the more and more I am involved in this, the more I am in harmony with exactly what I'm saying here today. I choose to live love. I choose to embrace it to the best of my ability. And when I forget it, I am reminded by the lower vibrational experiences I have created and brought to myself to remind myself they're not the best love that I could be living. So I freely admit I have been a jailbird. And I've served damn near all the time I want to spend in that jail. I'm starting to realize that all of its traps, all of its glitter, all of its lure have nothing to do with who I truly am and where I want to go and who I am becoming. May it likewise stir you in your own ways. Thank you.
For more information about the Metaphysical Church of Enlightenment or the Rodin Foundation, please go to our website at www.rodin.org. If you have been inspired by the revelations shared in these podcasts, please donate to the Rodin Foundation's ongoing efforts to help others help themselves at www.rodin.org/donate.